Hey, Mike Dillard here, and I thought I'd do something a little fun today and out of the ordinary by actually taking you on a free sneak peek or tour into the actual members area of the Elevation Group. So I know this is a little unorthodox, but frankly, I've gotten a few questions from some people who are wondering if the Elevation Group is right for them and if they have a thorough understanding of what this is actually all about, and I want to get those questions answered for you in case you're one of them. So while I could try and do that via an email, I thought it'd be a lot more fun to actually show you and take you on a personal tour back there. I'm a big believer in earning somebody's business the old-fashioned way by actually demonstrating the value of what my company offers before you actually purchase it or spend a dime with me. And frankly, I can't think of a better way to do that than to log in and take you on an actual tour of the members area so that you can see exactly what you're going to get with your Elevation Group membership, especially since the 50% discount that I've promised you is about to expire. So I really want to make sure that you get an opportunity to see what this is about and to take advantage of that discount. So let's go ahead and log in and see what's back here. Now, the first thing that you're probably going to notice is that this isn't your typical financial education or investing website that's filled with endless pages of boring links and graphs and articles. EVG is unlike anything else that you're going to find in the world, and we wanted to create a look and a feel for the members area that reflects that unique value that the Elevation Group brings to the table. Now, as far as the purpose of the Elevation Group is concerned, that's very simple. It's to empower average, ordinary people like you and I with the knowledge and contacts needed to achieve extraordinary wealth and, frankly, what has become a brave new world of investing by actually taking you inside the black box investing strategies used by the ultra-rich. And frankly, believe it or not, right here, right now, during this economic crisis, is the single greatest opportunity that you will ever have to accumulate massive wealth in your life as long as you know how to position your assets to do so. Now, after watching the implosion of the stock market and the housing market and seeing the financial pain that my friends and family members have been through as a result of those things, I realized that if you put your money into investment tools used by the middle class like mutual funds and 401ks, you're frankly going to get sheared with the rest of the sheep. The truly rich around the world are investing their money in ways that you don't even know exist. They're making returns of 30 to 300% per year, while most people are simply trying to keep their head above water at this point. So here inside the members area of the Elevation Group, we're actually going to uncover those secret strategies, and we're going to share them with all of the members like you. So let's go ahead and dive in, and why don't we take a look at some of the content that's been posted here in just the first 90 days alone. Now, as you can see, we've got really two different categories of information. The first up here are the various lessons, which are typically interviews done with experts and friends of mine that I've met and really truly wealthy individuals that I'm a student of and who are really sharing these inside strategies that they're using. And then the second category down here are diary entries, which are obviously written by me, and they're designed to give you an insight into where my head's going, where my money's going, and what my outlook on the future is, and how I'm positioning my personal assets to take advantage of the changes that are happening around the world right now. So why don't we go ahead and start with diary entry number 2 right here, and this is on how to think like the rich. So back in 2005, I went from waiting tables at a P.F. Chang's restaurant to making my first million within 18 months by the age of 27. Now that kind of drastic change was possible because I changed my mindset and I started to think like the wealthy do. Since that time, I've gone on to build 2 8-figure businesses and make almost $20 million over the past 5 years. So mindset is everything here, which is why this is where your EVG journey will begin. Now, if you don't have the right kind of thoughts running through your head right now, you're not going to attract wealth, even if you go through all of these other lessons and learn these techniques. It's really that simple. You know, you got to think and realize that wealth is not really a physical task that you go out and accomplish. It's more of a mental shift that allows you to finally see all of these endless opportunities around you and how to take advantage of them, even if you come from a background or history or past or family that's never had a lot of money, and even if you're dead broke right now, just as I was a few years ago. And in fact, I'm the very first millionaire in my family lineage generation after generation as far as we can see back. And why is that? Well, I'm really the first person who made it a point to go out and to change my mindset and to think differently and to start thinking like the wealthy. And, look what's happened. So what I've learned and the mental shifts that I've made in my life to attract this kind of wealth and prosperity is going to be laid out here for you in this diary entry, in diary entry number 2. It is going to be unbelievably powerful, and it's really just going to change the way that you look at the world from this day forward, from the very moment that you read it. Let's go to lesson number 1. Right here with Michael Maloney, who is Robert Kiyosaki's personal advisor when it comes to gold, silver, and wealth cycles. Now, this is one of the single most important video interviews that you will ever watch, because Robert and Michael have both predicted the housing collapse, the market collapse, and everything else that's happened since 2008. And frankly, I've made more money from what I've learned through Michael and this information and this interview than anything else that I've ever invested in. So if you want to know what's going to happen in the economy and in the financial realm and with your dollars that are in your savings account within the next 6 to 36 months, you're going to find that out here in lesson number 1. And I'll even scroll down here and kind of show you how many videos are part of this. And this is really extensive stuff. We get into detail in all of these lessons. We try to get everybody's questions answered. And it's, man, this is going to be amazing information. You're not going to be able to sleep once you go through this very first lesson. I'll just tell you that right now. All right, we're going to keep going. Lesson number 2. Now, this is on the concept of infinite banking, and it's one of the very first inside strategies used by the ultra-rich like Donald Trump himself. I know the guy who set this up for him, and most politicians, because it's one of the last loopholes that you might want to call it a loophole in the U.S. tax law. Now, basically, you can legally pull out all of your retirement money at any time that you want, 100% tax-free using this strategy. And not only that, but you can pass your wealth and your inheritance to your children 100% tax-free as well. So as you can see, because of those two things alone, this is an extremely, extremely powerful strategy. And I don't know about you, but until I met Paul and the other gentleman, Walter, who I'll tell you more about here in a minute, I've never known about this. No one in my family has known about this, and no one I've ever talked to has really known about this strategy before, which, once you see it, it makes perfect sense, but it's one of those, again, black box investing strategies used by the rich that, frankly, the middle class don't know about. So what I've learned in this lesson, can scroll down here, and I think this is really important. We actually get, as you can see, we pull out the whiteboard. With Paul, we go through everything. We actually show you the numbers down here and go through and really reveal how I've used this infinite banking strategy to create a $100,000 per month retirement foundation for myself and my family from the age of 60 to 100. So when I hit 60, from the next 40 years after that, I'm going to be able to pull out $100,000 per month in tax-free income. Okay, no one can take that away from me. It can't be seized. If I get sued, it's one of the single most protected asset classes that you as an individual can own. And for me, this is my foundation for retirement. Now that I have this in place, I don't really have to worry about anything anymore going from this point forward, and I can take as much risk as I feel like taking. I can swing for the fences, and I can sleep sound at night knowing that my retirement is already taken care of in a very, very, very good way. All right, let's keep going, and now let's go to lesson number 3. Now, this is titled Everything That You Need to Know About Buying and Gold and Silver, and this is an incredibly hot topic right now, and rightfully so. Now, I invested about 90% of my assets into gold and silver back in 2008 when silver was $10 an ounce and gold was around $800 an ounce. And as hopefully you already know, and you're aware of this, today's silver, 2.5, 3 years later, is $40 an ounce, and gold is almost $1,500 an ounce. Now, I believe it is incredibly, incredibly important to own some gold and silver at this point, physically preferred. But there are many, many, many different types and kinds and forms of gold and silver that you can buy. Paper silver, different kinds of coins, collectibles, bullion bars. The selection is really endless. Some are much better than others, and we're going to go through all of these in detail here in lesson number 3, and I'm going to show you what I've purchased, what kinds, what types, where I purchased them from to get the best price, and why. Okay, so please do not buy precious metals until you've gone through lesson number 3. All right, let's go to lesson number 4. I love this little graphic of this kid down here in his little Superman outfit. This is, in fact, the single most valuable piece of information that I think myself and all the other Elevation Group members have received here from a wealthy mentor, and this is again through Paul again, to date, because it reveals a really what I consider a very secret strategy used by the Rothschild family, who is the wealthiest family in the world, to successfully pass their wealth down and grow it exponentially from one generation to the next with zero risk of loss. No matter what your kids do with your money after you pass, you can structure this using some little known strategies to where if they go blow it all, it's actually insured and it gets even bigger. It's absolutely phenomenal, but this is how these wealthy families go from millions to tens of millions to hundreds of millions to billions and then hundreds of billions of dollars in net worth. Okay, now we're going to obviously talk about a little, legal strategy and trusts or taxes, but the primary point of this lesson is to talk about something that most people don't, which is educating your children on how to handle that wealth. Because it doesn't matter if you leave them a bunch of money, if you don't teach them how to take advantage of it, use it, and manage it and grow it, they're just going to blow it. It's gonna be spent on stupid things like cars and vacations, and it's just going to go away. So this information is the solution to that problem. This information is how you empower your children to become truly wealthy generation from generation to generation. And I don't care if your kids are 5 years old today, or if you're in the boomer generation and you have kids with kids of their own. It's not too late to start this process. Everyone can use this strategy to create a $10 to $100 million or more legacy within 2 to 3 generations, okay? And when those future generations look back along their family tree, they're going to credit you with providing the knowledge and the skills that changed everything for your family name from this point forward. Okay, so if you want your children to be wealthy and prosperous, this lesson is an absolute must. Sit down with your family, sit down with your spouse, go through this information. Cannot stress to you how unbelievably important and magical this is. It changed our life and our family's life for sure. So let's go back to the home page real quick, and I want to go over lesson number 6 real quick. And this is titled Uncovering the Dirty Little Secrets of the Credit Score Game to Maximize Your Investment Opportunities. So there's going to be 2 groups of people who watch this. You're going to either have some credit dings and derogatory marks on your score that are hurting you right now and preventing you from taking advantage of opportunities. Maybe it's a credit card or getting the home loan that you want, or a car loan, or maybe you're paying 2 or 3 times as much interest on those purchases than you would otherwise if you had a clean score. So that's the first group of people. The second group are individuals like myself, who I have a squeaky clean credit score. I've never had a derogatory mark on it, but it's in the 700s, and I would like it to be 800 for investment purposes. And one of the biggest strategies that you can play right now is the inflation play by hedging it with fixed rate real estate debt. And this is something that I talk about in diary entry number 3 or number 4 on some purchases and investments that I've just made on, and I really go through and teach you how to do that and how to take advantage of it. But you have to have a really great credit score today in order to get those home loans at good rates. That's something that most people don't know how to do, how to raise their credit score. So in this lesson in particular, we sit down with my friend Anthony here in Austin, who's been a credit repair restoration specialist for 6 or 7 years now. And instead of really just going through and using his services to fix or raise your score, he goes through and he educates everybody on how the credit game works, and it's completely counterintuitive. Okay, everything that you think you should do to increase your credit score is probably wrong, because that's what it was for me when I sat down with Anthony, and we actually go through this, and again on the whiteboard with the whole video series, and we go through how the credit scoring companies actually come up with those scores and rate your credit.